Members of the Biden family, including Hunter Biden and the president's brother James, have been subpoenaed now by the House Oversight Committee on Wednesday as part of the Republican impeachment inquiry into the family's business dealings. In a statement, Hunter Biden's attorney calls the move a political stunt. He also says that Hunter is eager to speak with the committee. The Hill's Julia Manchester is here right now. Julia, how significant is this? How much is this escalating now that the two are being subpoenaed?
Yeah, Adrienne, it's certainly significant because this means that if they end up testifying, it could be one step closer to an impeachment inquiry against President Biden ahead of the 2024 elections. We knew that this move was coming, and it seemed like the chairman of this committee, Chairman Comer, was certainly inching towards this, reviewing bank records, subpoenaing those records. But now they want to do this testimony from Hunter Biden and James Biden, the president's brother. In addition to that, James Biden's wife and the wife of President Biden's late son, Beau Biden, were also invited to voluntarily testify, but we'll see if this ends up happening. It certainly ratchets up the pressure, but interesting that Abe Lowell is saying that Hunter Biden is eager to testify, certainly a clap back at this subpoena.
Yeah, it may be an indication of them trying to, manage public perception of what he's thinking going into that room. But reports have always been, for months now, that an impeachment inquiry into President Biden would be far-fetched. So what is the committee hoping to actually uncover as part of this subpoena?
So right now, the spotlight is on Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden is obviously not President Biden. So for an impeachment inquiry to happen, they would have to uncover something, some evidence of wrongdoing or illegal activity from President Biden himself. So they're hoping to get that from this testimony or from this ongoing investigation, which this testimony could be a part of. So that's the goal here. But in general, when we talk about these impeachment inquiries being far-fetched, look, Adrienne, I think it's important to point out that there are a lot of critics, many Republicans as well, who say, look, impeachment is starting to become sort of a norm. We saw it in the Trump administration with House Democrats. Now we're starting to see it, obviously, in the Biden administration with House Republicans. It's not supposed to be this political football that's supposed to be thrown back and forth. That's supposed to be reserved for officials like a president of the United States who is seriously suspected of high crimes and misdemeanors. So it's something that we're seeing this happening before presidential elections, so it's likely to get ugly.
Yeah, and I think there are a lot of Republicans demanding an equal playing field when it comes to the first family, whether past first family, as we're seeing play out in New York, or the current first family. Julia, I know you're moderating an event today, an empowering event for women, along with our Ashley Banfield and Elizabeth Vargas. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm so excited to moderate this event. I grew up watching Ashley and Elizabeth, and that's so important to me because this event is about women of all ages. It's the power of women over 50 and talking to various women in positions of power over 50 years old about getting more women over 50 a seat at the table, having their voices to be heard, and really creating that allyship between women of all ages. We're speaking to a number of different well-known women. Melissa Rivers, the comedian and daughter of fashion critic Joan Rivers, Valerie Jarrett, the former aide to President Obama, and Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee. So we're really excited to team up with you guys for this and really look to uplift a number of female voices.
Well, it's certainly important. And I think a lot of times we don't speak enough about the importance of younger women, middle-aged women, older women of all ages, just being sisters with each other, because you can't just speak to people who are only in your peer group. It's important to have the perspective of those who've gone before you and those who are coming up after you. Julia, thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.